We could roast a turkey right here.
Really happening?
Water
Maybe
is
a
hot,
fifth.
by the way.
Yeah.
I can't almost touch it. I'm drinking hot water.
Welcome to yet another episode of SAUNA BOYZ. Today we have Slade here. Thanks for being with us.
Great to be here. Why am I here?
Well, nobody knows. That's the big question. Why are you here?
I mean, how did I end up here? I appreciate the invitation very much. I didn't realize you could get so many guys in one little sauna. This is really impressive.
We got more guys coming too.
Oh, geez.
They're on their way.
Yeah, I heard
amazing.
this on the party bus. We're getting it going. Yeah, no,
There's so much new information out there nowadays,
is.
health and fitness, and sometimes you don't even know what's real anymore. Sometimes people say, I'm on an air diet. You know, I can't breathe air. Air is bad for you. Don't have
blink,
air.
Don't breathe. Don't talk. Don't drink water. Don't do anything.
We're here to get to the bottom of what's going on and have a little bit of fun on the way in an unfiltered environment. We're not in this controlled studio. Everybody's checking their hair and makeup. We like to sweat it
We
out.
want you to feel the heat. We're not here to play around. You can't hide from the heat.
No, there's no hiding.
You know, I enjoy watching the hot ones. I didn't think I'd actually be one of the hot ones.
You are the hot one now.
I'm going to stay here until this boils, and then I'm going to have to leave.
Perfect. I guess to kick it off on our health and wellness journey,
Yeah.
is there anything now that you've been seeing that has been kind of perking your ears up a little bit? You're saying that's bogus, or actually I really like this.
So much of it is bogus, you know, and if you look at like the Maha movement right now going on in our government, it's really the replacement of, you know, career experts and professionals with, you know, folks that are just want to sell you something. And it's based on anti-science and pseudoscience, and you know, and there's so many voices out there, and the voices that are peddling this anti-science and the pseudoscience for profit instead of real science for public good, it's almost as if they have equal weight now, and they're given legitimacy in this new administration, and it's a real damn shame, you know. So I try to, you know, pay attention to creators out there who are legitimate, have great credentials, and are speaking truth to that kind of power, you know, and kind of punching up at it. But there's plenty out there that are very successful at having built huge communities on their pseudoscience and telling you what's, like walking through a grocery store, telling you what's bad for you, and then trying to sell you something at the end of that is essentially no different from what they're telling you is bad for you. And it's just it's unfortunately that health has now just become another thing that is unethically being marketed.
Are you more of the school of do your own research, you know, really take a deep dive, become Dick Tracy, hardcore detective work? Or are you more so by experience, you know,
Yeah.
what works, what doesn't work?
There used to be trusted brands, you know, that you could go to kind of figure this stuff out. Just like in journalism, you know, there used to be these brands and these distribution channels of information where you could place your trust, and they weren't perfect, but they were honest if they weren't perfect. It was, oh no, okay, things have changed a little bit, but yeah, it's buyer beware. You have to do your own research, and you know, none of us are, you know, I don't know if you guys are, but I'm not an expert in this, so I do know a thing or two about information and about how it gets marketed and how it gets peddled. But yeah, I would say you have to do your own research. You have to listen to voices that you trust. But it's buyer beware.
If something is neon and glowing like a nuclear weapon inside a supermarket, should I drink that?
I think that's a great place to start. Not doing, yeah. Don't get that. Yeah, that's
Noted.
unfortunately. But that's why you have, you know, these food deserts in these urban areas, these stores on the corner. That's all that they carry, because there's a really great book about this called Salt, Sugar, Fat, right? And that kind of goes into how things were marketed not for health but to maximize profit. And a lot of it came down to something they called mouthfeel, right? And the right combination of salt, sugar, and fat could give you this really pleasing mouthfeel. And then they packaged it really brightly, and you just and that's for your memory. So when you get hungry and you want that mouthfeel, that color, that identity is now part of your evoked set of options first, and you just go reach for that.
I love the term food desert.
Yeah.
Because I read somewhere that anywhere in America is within 10 miles of a Walmart. And I just went to Walmart before this, and sure enough, I go in and you get smacked right when you walk in. You have this cool, big display of Coca-Cola and Gatorade, and it's like, shaped like a transformer. And I'm like, oh, I want some Coca-Cola now. That's awesome. I love Optimus Prime, but it's like it's a farce,
Yes, it is.
And it goes deep too. I mean, they get us hooked young. They're involved in the school system, and these youth sports programs. They get you going as I take a little
young
drink.
tot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because as I get into these political conversations and civics conversations with folks, you can kind of tell. You maintain your curiosity when you're talking to them. You can kind of tell, okay, they're kind of getting their information from a maybe a few sources, but they're probably just repeating the same thing. You do have to look at a wide spectrum of things to really get a clear picture, I think.
Your content's amazing online.
Thanks.
Making all of your wonderful dishes that I want to try. Did you bring any with you?
I didn't. I will next time.
Really can't be shame.
We could roast a turkey right here.
How do you balance yumminess versus healthiness?
Here's the beauty of what I do, right? Because when I started and I was cooking all these things that I knew how to cook and exploring, what's really funny is even before that, I wrote political essays on Facebook and things like that. I just realized I'm not changing anybody's mind, right? And the comment sections were always turning into vitriol. But when I started doing recipes, being politically different from someone is nothing compared to telling them how much garlic to put in a recipe. So there was much more vitriol in the recipe comment section. But as I was making things, looking at the comment section, they said, hey, you can do this instead of that, and you can do this instead of that. And so all of a sudden, because of our community, I had so many ideas coming my way about how to do this. So okay, I'll try that. Thank you very much. And a lot of it was, can you make this vegan? Or can you do this? And I was like, well, I'd like to find out how. Let's see what I can do. And so I would go research. What can I substitute this for? How can I use instead of eggs, what could I use? Or instead of this, what could I use? And applesauce has an amazing a variety of applications in baking, for instance, that actually is really good. And natural applesauce, not the sugared up stuff. So that's been part of my health journey, which is kind of cool because I have ballooned up pretty big, and I'm actually working with a great trainer right now. His name is Brogan Walls, and he's
Shout out Brogan.
Yeah, Brogan. He's in Scotland. And it's funny because I talked to him and he sounds like Fat Bastard. Like, get in my belly! But he's extremely level-headed. He's very patient with me because I've been on and again, off again with him. But now we're really kind of committed to going forward, and I'm on this journey that hopefully it's going to do well. But combining what he's able to do in terms of outlining a whole program for me and my increasing knowledge of how to make things healthier and how to make things better but still tasty. But to do that though, it takes a lot of curiosity. You have to really be invested in saying, okay, I've made this thing this way all my life. Now I'm going to try to make it differently with better ingredients or only using whole ingredients, and it just takes a lot of effort, and there's just no way around that.
Trial and error. You're a scientist.
Totally trial and error.
You're
yes.
an alchemist. You're out there experimenting, trying things. It's really inspiring. It's cool to hear that and to see it. You're looking good, man. I know you're saying you ballooned up. That's mass. That's
Yes.
baseball. That's to get a little bit more power.
That's right.
On some of those hits.
I see these NFL players that say, "Oh, he's 6 foot 250." I'm like, wait a minute, so am I.
Yeah.
I don't look like him.
Well, yeah.
So, but my plan is to get back down to fighting weight, which is like around 220. And
Hell
if
yeah.
I do that, then the sky's the limit. And what's kind of cool is I have discovered just how difficult. I've got a major sweet tooth. Right? So
Tell me about
I
it.
have found, that I'll commit myself in a day to say, okay, I'm going to have no sugar today. And it's amazing how difficult that is given sort of the places I go and the habits that I've developed. And it's just like sit still and just don't eat something. Just okay. 8 o'clock comes, watch a show. Don't get the popcorn. Don't.
It's impossible.
Stay in your seat. And that's I'm gonna sell this program. Just sit and shut up.
Life, liberty, the pursuit of munchies.
Yes,
always
yes.
chewing, eating something, gnawing on something, drinking something.
So I found there's an aisle in the store that has desserts for diabetics, and some of them are actually designed for diabetics. But the bottom line is they have no sugar in them. They got fat. They've got other things, salt, but they taste really good, and I've been trying some of them and drinking like a Coke Zero, for instance, if I feel like I want a Coke. and I can add like lime to that Coke, or make it taste like what I really like, and I can have a little bit of that and have one of these diabetic cookies, for instance, and I get that sensation, which is great. But then after that, there's a certain clean feeling I have. I don't crave more of it, and I don't feel like bogged down. I don't have that brain fog.
Right.
And again, this is where this is the problem with marketing the pseudoscience. Is like, do you suffer from brain fog and this? It's like, yeah, we all do, dude.
It's called living.
And your solution is not a one size fits all, if it's a solution at all. And so I think, we can talk about what's good for us, but to answer your question, yeah, it's just a matter of developing good habits and keeping your mouth shut.
I mean,
go to bed. Go to bed. Just drink your water and go to bed. Brogan, my trainer Brogan, he says you got to drink 3 liters of water a day. I choke down 1 liter, and I'm like, okay, I'm drowning, dude. I can't do this, but I can see how it's a habit, and you develop it over time and consistency over time. A little more water, and it's like, yeah, it works. It replaces a lot of things that would otherwise be bad for you.
Breaking the habit. You brought up a really great point about modern foods and just how addictive they are now.
Yes.
They're more addictive than some of the most hardcore drugs.
Yeah.
And I also have a really extreme sweet tooth, and it becomes a point where it becomes, I think, abusive. Like there's something very dark about the American sort of health and food, corporation industry, if you will, and it gets to a point where it's like, why am I on my 6th bag of gummy bears now? And it's like, why am I not putting this down? And you're just sort of,
it's something else.
It's like, dude, what did they put in this? Where it's like,
and it's
am I trying to kill myself?
Part of it is certainly that sugar that's addictive, but it's also that combination of salt, sugar, and fat that gives it a certain mouthfeel, gives it a certain taste, and that becomes your weapon of choice.
Yeah, even I was looking at, I think it was a Tylenol or Advil capsule, and they have like 1 gram of sugar in there.
Yeah.
You know how it's a little sweet when you take it?
Yeah.
It's like, that does not need sugar.
That may
I'm
be-
trying to get rid of my headache.
That may be the SBZ
Don't sugarcoat
challenge of the day. Can you go a day without sugar? Is it possible?
I don't think
Do
you
remember
can.
the last time you did?
I think they put it in everything.
water.
Yeah, water
for
now.
Sure. The shower. I'm taking a shower. Why is this the shower?
The
water
shower has red
sugar?
40 and
Yeah,
sugar. That's where we're at now, You just rinse off in
Just
it.
throw it in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, but are you are you going through, the standard 3 American meals a day, and you drown
No.
yourself with breakfast, you drown yourself with lunch,
Yeah.
and then you
Snack
go for
in between.
You go for the final kill at dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not me. I'll have a little something in the morning, and then we're doing a meal prep now, and so I'll have like a burrito or something that's been made.
Cool.
My wife would have made it, and it's like, it's funny because we have 5 kids all together, 2 of mine, 3 of hers, and we have 4 in the house. And so this meal prep that's supposed to last a week, it's gone by like Monday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of work on the volume. But yeah, I'll do that. And then dinner is always the big meal, because I'm making something huge, or trying something new, or maybe I've made a video that day and have a lot of stuff left over that we're going to make something from. So that's kind of how my day kind of gets bigger as it
Yeah, I
goes
wanted to
forward.
ask, because you're trying new recipes, and then that's also worked into what you guys are going to eat for the day, or is it
Yeah.
just for the camera?
No, sometimes it is. It depends how much volume of it I make, but typically I'll make enough of it to say, yeah, okay, that'll be the meal for tonight,
Okay.
or at least enough for everybody to get a taste. See if they like it, and then we'll make it some other night.
Yeah, I've worked with some food dressers before. I did like a Subway commercial. Very fascinating. They come in with their Pulp Fiction briefcase, like the wolf, and he's like, I just flew in from South America doing a commercial down there, and they had the sandwich and they're spraying it, and they got the spritz and all the paints, and you can't even eat it. So
No.
your food is
saying
actually real.
It's totally real.
Okay. I didn't know if
Totally real.
looks
False
it pops
advertising,
out at
false
you.
marketing.
There's no Vaseline glossing up the outside of it. There's no all the burgers you can eat.
It's cool because No, I think America has such a it's a diverse land for so many different food cultures. You know, I've been all around. There's so much great food that somehow melts and comes together here. And you know, from like barbecue to Korean barbecue now, it's really taken a hold. And you have Jamaican food, and you have all sorts of Southern cuisine and all these things. You know, do you have a food category that you really
Dude, my wife's Brazilian. So I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of Brazilian barbecue. But yeah. So my weakness is coxinha. Those little coxinhas, I don't know how to describe them. They've got chicken with catupiry cheese inside, and it's like it's not potato, but it's like this masa, and it's deep fried, and it's like this teardrop shape. Coxinhas are amazing. So between that and feijoada is something I aspire to. This big beef, this big meat stew. So one day I want to make that. But we do Brazilian barbecue at home. So we'll do the picanha, we do chicken hearts, we do linguiça, we do all the sausages, and so a lot of Latin America is just protein, and oh, by the way, I have something else, but it's all these meats, and so I have friends with Puerto Rican and so on and so forth, but yeah, my life's all about Brazilian food right now.
What are your thoughts on steroid meats, jacked up steroid foods? Everything is so supersized now at our supermarkets. Is this really real meat, or what exactly is this?
I remember watching TV shows and seeing ads from the 1950s and saying, this is a chicken from the store. It looks like a Cornish game hen today. The chickens weren't this big, beefy, muscular thing. And so I'm not really an expert enough to speak to it, but I do see the chickens today, like the rotisserie chicken I'll pick up at Publix, and it looks very nice. I do worry a little bit about maybe what's inside of it, but I still eat it.
Yeah, there's just so many people
to feed. Are the microphones sweating?
Oh yeah, they sweat.
Don't get electric. Oh.
Yeah, this is how we run it here.
I don't want to touch this now.
Yeah, you can't touch anything. You'll get
okay.
Yeah,
everything's cool.
No,
we're wired for sound.
Yeah, we just go for it here. I think go ahead.
It's cool because it's. I mean, I guess it's the no-brainer thing would be like, if something looks so fake or artificial, I don't know if I should be putting it in my body. Yeah. At the same time.
So this family I cooked for last night, right? Everything has to be organic.
Yeah.
So I spent 3 days shopping for different ingredients. We ended up making a beautiful pecan-crusted salmon, filet mignon, and these potatoes, and some of them had to have no salt, some, but we had built this whole big charcuterie plate, but everything had to be organic. And it was funny because I'll look for things that are organic, but I typically, because they're more expensive, I have to make an economical decision sometimes. But shopping for them on their dime, it was like, okay, everything. And some of that was hard to find. I had to go to like 3 different stores to kind of get exactly what we needed for this. But yeah, I try to pay attention to that, but at the same time, sometimes I go for the bright, shiny stuff too.
Yeah, it is funny just seeing these picturesque, fruits and proteins that never expire. They're good for 2 years, and they aesthetically look like a little emoji. It's like shiny.
Was it Morgan Spurlock with Supersize Me, or was it someone else who just had a Big Mac and they just kept it in a?
That's right. That was Supersize Me.
Yeah, was that? And he was just like, just something.
It still looks good after a year.
Unwittingly, I kind of did the same experiment. I was eating McDonald's in my car. This is a decade ago, and one of the fries fell in between the seat, and I couldn't get it. So it was like literally, I think it was years later. I was cleaning out the car and got way under the seat, and I found that fry. And I tell you, it looked exactly the same as when I dropped it.
You take a little nibble.
It tasted amazing. I mean, these things don't die.
Incredible.
This episode is brought to you by McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah.
Feeling it. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good segue for our next segment. Are you ready? Could be anything.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm as ready as I can be.
This segment we like to call This is our rendition of Mount Rushmore, and we like to pick a different topic and see if we collectively can put together our Mount Rushmore of today's topic.
Yeah.
Which is a tough one. And the fun and difficult thing about Mount Steamore, you can only pick 4.
Sure.
Who you got?
Well, for me, and it wouldn't surprise you that I'm going to go kind of old school here, but I think, what is comedy, right? So comedy is sort of an exposing of the absurd, right? You have if you look at a joke, you have the setup of the joke, which is sort of normal, and then you have that kick at the end that exposes the absurd. And I think Lenny Bruce, in what he did, in terms of opening that door kind of ahead of his time, right? Saying, let's expose the absurdity, let's punch up a little bit, but then let's look at these statutes, these laws about obscenity. They're just as absurd when you think about it. It's just like another version of absurd. And so he kind of exposed that, paid the price for it, paid the ultimate price for it. But I think in doing so, he sort of set the standard to say that to everybody that came after him, don't let comedy be less than this, you know? So to me, I think he sort of opened that door. And then...
So he's kind of like your Washington.
Yeah, he would be my Washington, right? You know? And because he evolved comedy from telling jokes to telling stories to then saying, hey, wait a second. You know, the more resistance he got, the more he pushed. And he actually was the resistance. And I think who picked up the torch from him was George Carlin, who was an incredibly great storyteller. And ultimately, you know, he managed to morph into these different things as he sort of developed his ideas about what society was and how he ultimately gave up on the human race toward the end there and allowed him to be a spectator. Yeah. And then all bets were off. And he was attacking children. He was attacking everybody.
And how great would it be if he was alive today? He would just, the technocracy and everything going on, he would just be laughing or probably blow his head off.
And that's part of the thing,
he got
too.
pretty dark.
He did get dark, but that's also part of the thing that so many of his clips are applicable today, and it's like, oh, he predicted it. Well, it's because the whole idea of authoritarianism and the oligarchy and all of that, it's timeless. Mm-hmm. It's timeless, and he just happened to, you know, be one to kind of pick on it. And then I think you have to look at Joan Rivers, someone who survived in a man's world in a way by just outworking them, you know. And she punched up and she punched down and she punched left and right. And she was a bit of an insult comic at times, right? But I think that you got to give her a lot of credit, and she deserves to be there because she put the work in.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing clips of her she has so many quick little jabs at people that are so sharp, and it was also funny too with all of the plastic surgery. You know, like, you never knew what age she was.
Yeah, if you were standing behind her, there'd be this ball of flesh right there at her because they just kept pulling and pulling. And I think she would appreciate that joke. You know?
Yeah, just a rubber band.
That quick wit was definitely one of her unique skills, and I think a lot of the great comedians have a unique quality, just like athletes or anyone else who has a very unique skill no one can quite replicate.
Yeah, and she's you hear her cadence, or you kind of see it, and it's like it's absolutely unmistakable. Mm-hmm. And then finally, I would have Dave Chappelle, who is just who I came to really understand after the Chappelle Show, for his erudite storytelling and his ability to sort of, and he was to his ability to really point out the absurd, and he got a lot of flack for what people consider to be punching down, and it's understandable. I didn't really see it that way, but you know, maybe that's just my privilege showing. But I thought, then I went back to look at Chappelle's show, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, there's just a lot of genius there, you know. And I think ultimately he used most of his genius for good.
It's cool too for him because he's gotten so big, he's worth so much money, and he just lives out in like Ohio. Yeah. He's kind of like amongst the people. He's not in Hollywood. He's not in some sort of super condo in New York City or something. You know, I think there's something to be said there, because if you aren't amongst the people as a comedian, then what are you really? You know, it's like I don't think it really works that way. It's kind of for the people.
Yeah, comedy's in a strange spot right now. Podcasting has become comedy, or comedians now are like, you need a podcast, and then they just kind of chat. But now it's like their podcasting is not as good. Their comedy's not as good as their podcast. It's kind of in this weird place right now.
That's a really great observation, because I think stand-up is about performance, and you can't necessarily replicate that in a podcast in that kind of format. I mean, I was also very galvanized in like Robin Williams. You know, like his live set, he's gone a million gazillion. He's just hitting the accelerator. That's his thing, and it's like I just can't really replicate and do something like that. But yeah, it's a good point. I mean, There's a lot of comedians who have I just don't think they're funny on their podcast. I'm like, who's a different person? Who is that?
Yeah, just going to your
where they kind of reveal themselves a little more. It's
Yeah.
like, how much do they really, all comedian storytelling. So it's not all first person exactly. There's a lot of lying on stage, but do they really believe in the values that they're kind of espousing? And I think through the length of a podcast, you can't hide that forever. And what we mostly see from their podcast are just these snippets on social media. It's like the 0.1% of what they feel is a really good moment, but over the long term, like I thought, who's that? Tom Segura does, I think, a really good job with it. And who's the guy that does it with his shirt off?
Bert.
Bert Kreischer, big Florida guy.
Right. Yeah, big Florida guy.
He has a gimmick. He has a shtick. I like Dane Cook, Carrot Top. Some of these guys have a shtick. I've always liked that slapstick, that big dumb comedy.
Gallagher smashing a watermelon.
You got a gig, a gag, you run with it. I have always loved that.
But he's got like these two things, right, that are really popular. One is like, look, I'm never going to stop drinking. So you just, this guy's not going to make it much longer. He's going to expire, and I hope he doesn't, but he's just heading down that path. And then the other thing was when he was with Matthew McConaughey describing his how he makes tuna fish. That resonated with me. And I was like, oh, this tuna fish sounds amazing. And I've made it, and it's really
Bert's
fantastic.
tuna fish or Matthew's? Okay.
Matthew McConaughey.
What are your thoughts on the SNL factory? All the people who've gone through there. I mean, didn't
I think what's SNL is amazing because, again, consistency over time leads to success, and they've just been, they've had their ups and downs. People have their favorite years, and all those were shit years and all that.
Yeah.
But you can't argue with a show that has not been canceled
Andy
for
Kaufman
50 years.
Didn't he get rejected, or was he on it, or did he just?
There's plenty.
So many people like Jim Carrey got rejected,
Plenty of
like all
rejects.
sorts of people. Yeah.
But I think SNL overshadows what's happening up in Canada with Second City and so many great comics. And in fact, there's a recent documentary about John Candy in his life, and so they get to highlight a lot of that.
That's
so a lot of household names we know are actually Canadian, and there's a certain humor there. It's like the best of American and British humor put together, and it's just completely absurd and funny.
Yeah, shout out Canada. I mean, they gave us Celine Dion, Justin Bieber,
James
Drake,
Cameron.
James Cameron.
There's a lot they've given us. The Canadians have been.
Yeah, them too.
Yeah. I mean, the list goes on. Shania Twain, she's Canadian, which is kind of a one you wouldn't think about.
That don't impress me much.
Scott Sherman.
One person I really enjoy in the comedy world is Ricky Gervais, and I love that I feel like he's kind of a scion of like Carlin and a lot of those guys in a way, I think more
he takes the piss at everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
I love it when he does award shows. It's the best.
He's a little different than Chappelle in some ways too, and I do think there's just increasingly a dearth amount of the more cerebral comedian, and I know I am still guilty of the guy with the shirt off drinking at the 6-pack at the college football game.
I can't stand that, dude.
No, I know you can't stand it. I love it. But I thought he did that big moment like grilling everyone at the academy. That's just a legendary moment. Yeah. And his stuff also gets very nihilistic though, and like I just can't do. At a certain point, I'm like I don't know if I can do this. It's really dark.
Well, yeah, these guys are kind of are they comedians? It's like I feel like they're now like podcast kind of lifestyle guys, but yeah, he is hilarious. How I think he does like IV drips every day, all this like health stuff, but then he won't stop drinking. Yeah, that's like the worst thing for you.
Right. And there's also something else too about comedy is that to me one of the best forms of comedy is satire. Right. So you point out the absurd. And if you look at every authoritarian regime in history, who do they go after first? They go after the free press, right? They go after free opinion, and they go after the comedians. They go after the talk show hosts. They go after, all that. So to me, that alone should tell you that they are, in a way, a protector of free speech and democracy.
Cultural warriors.
Yeah, well, we saw it recently with Jimmy Kimmel and the Trump situation, and it's fascinating because I think Trump, ironically enough, is I think a great stand-up comedian. I think he has great comedic chops. If you've seen him talk at his things, I mean, you agree with him or not, whatever your political viewpoint is, I think that on a skill level, he has great comedic abilities and instincts. Yeah. And it's interesting to see how like the late night games change. Like. I guess I grew up with like the later stages of like Jay Leno and Letterman. Like Conan O'Brien had his thing going, and then before that, I wasn't born. I wasn't used to the whole. It was what's his face, of course. On
Johnny Carson.
yeah, Carson was like the god, and after that, it's become very interesting. I feel like it's kind of outdated now, because of YouTube and podcasting and the whole thing where like the guy gets up in the suit and gives this whole delivery and
Yeah, it feels a little.
It's become an artifact. Yeah, it really has.
So, what would your Mount Rushmore be? Mount Steamore, rather.
Steamore, I mean, we have to hear yours too. I mean, I gotta go with like I think Charlie Chaplin's on there. I feel like he's the guy that like I'm big on the physical.
That's a good one, yeah.
Physical comedy, the physical humor, and he was doing stuff that was like he was like very radical for his time, and kind of a crazy guy, obviously, like a lot of great comedians are. So he's definitely on there for me. I'd throw. Like I said, I think Chris Farley for me. I just think he was something really special.
He was.
I just had the natural instinct, the ability, the energy, just in the craziest crap, man. He's just like running around, just smashing. I just love that kind of attitude. I would probably throw Eddie Murphy in there. I think he's done a good job with, like Raw changed a lot of things, and I think people forget how big he was when he's at like the height of his power, like Beverly Hills Cop. I think he had a #1 song with Michael Jackson. Like that's on your like absurd levels, like what and I think he's done a good job. I mean, it would probably either be him, like Adam Sandler, like people who've like sustained a great career doing comedy and haven't really gone too nuts or crazy. And I think Robin Williams, I throw him on there. I always loved. It's like I love the energy, the charisma. How I want to see the person who's gonna take it the furthest.
Oh, he was a force of nature.
And
He'd be
that shtick. It's just it's inspirational. Yeah. So I think that those four kind of stick out for me.
It's a good list, but where's Jerry Seinfeld?
You ever mentioned
Any
him
fans
once?
here? No,
I like Seinfeld a lot. I do think, but it's funny. It's like I said. It's like, is he really amongst the people anymore? Like he's this billionaire, I think,
absolutely not.
who just like lives in his high horse tower in New York, and like every time he does an interview, he's always kind of like cagey and. Like it doesn't. Of course he's a genius, but I don't know. It's something about him seems very like supercilious, and that's very off-putting to me as a someone who's like receptive to a talent, a comedian or something. Yeah.
As a comedian, I think it's important to appear accessible. He doesn't really appear accessible.
Yeah, and especially I think he doesn't like when anybody criticizes him.
Yeah. Did anyone see that Pop-Tart movie?
I did.
You saw it? Was it any good? Or?
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was a star-studded cast, and so it had all the earmarks, and it was highly stylized. It was almost cartoonish. So it had the earmarks of being something special, and it was okay. I thought it was okay.
I'm more of a B movie guy.
Told him a story. Yeah, absolutely.
But there are also so many other guys. I mean, I thought Tom Green, Andy Dick, Ben Stiller, like think like 90s into like 2000s. I think what he was doing, like really, even the Jackass guys, like Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, I think they were able to bring like a different kind of aesthetic, the comedy, like punk, skater, stoner, kind of that underground
so you do
fringe
like the
community.
Physical stuff for sure.
Even
the abusive stuff.
Yeah, I love all of that.
Slap him across the face with a giant hand.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, that's good. I might have to change my answer now. I forgot about these guys because
we've named out so many.
Are you leading with Jerry Seinfeld?
I know. Oh, no.
Many people you probably don't even think.
He's so like many. If we had to blow some rocks off and add
water
maybe
is
a
hot,
fifth.
by the way. This is almost. I can't almost touch it. I'm drinking hot water, and this is like, okay, we better wrap it up.
Well, I think it might be time for our SBZ Hot Zone round.
It is.
We made it. Oh gosh, here we go.
SBZ Hot
Final round. Let me get my very damp,
Can you read?
my very sweaty piece of paper.
We're
over
working
here.
with our budget right now.
Yeah, I had an iPad in here,
You're of the people.
it fried immediately.
Oh, iPads. Yeah, that wouldn't work here.
All right, here we go. Pineapple on pizza or calling the cops?
Pineapple all the way.
Do you use pineapple a lot in some of your recipes?
Absolutely, I do.
Big pineapple guy.
Yeah.
Pineapple is a tangy citrus. It's very acidic, and it has a lot of uses. Absolutely.
Number 2, if you would replace your hands with kitchen utensils, what would it be?
This would be a whisk, and this would be a fish spatula.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah,
You already know.
You can't. A fish spatula is one of the most amazing tools ever. Everyone should use it for a spatula for every application.
I mean, how would you greet people with a spatula hand?
I just smack them around. Say, welcome, let's eat.
Does it? Get him in there.
If bread could scream, would you toast it?
That'd be half the fun. Yeah. No, if bread could literally scream, no, I don't think I would toast it.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, with lobster. You take them out before you throw them in the boiling water. You just throw them in for freshness.
No, you've got to spike them through the head. It's just the most humane way.
Yeah, people, they argue that 1 millisecond of life adds that much flavor. Because I think it releases a stress hormone.
That extra bit.
Yeah, it's like the animal suffers just so you can get like a little extra tang in there.
It releases a stress hormone in you.
Number 5, sneeze glitter or hiccup confetti.
Well, hiccups are inward. You don't want to hiccup confetti.
Choking me down.
Yeah. I would sneeze glitter. I mean, it'd be so much fun at parties.
Do you think you could emotionally manipulate a goose?
Oh, buddy. If you've ever been attacked by a goose,
It's serious.
especially one of those Egyptian bastards. Oh my lord. Yeah, if I could charm a goose, I would try.
Have you been attacked by a goose before?
I have. The people I know have been attacked worse. Like, I didn't actually have physical contact. One just came at me because it was protecting whatever was behind it. And it's there, I mean, you get down to it. You can literally withstand it. You can grab the neck and,
Twirl it around.
do what you needed to. But yeah, it's a very frightful thing.
Would you trust a giraffe wearing sunglasses?
I go straight to, I think, of Toys R Us. Is that
Yeah,
where you
I
got
think-
that?
I mean, if it's a sunny day, sure, you look up and say, hey, can you see my house from there?
It goes back into what we're talking about, the bright, colorful things they're inviting, but then, before you know, the giraffe's going to be asking you to do shady things.
There's also what is it?
I think that giraffe has seen some stuff.
Number 8, you get word your socks are unionizing. Whose side are you on?
Side am I on?
Are you a union buster or?
I cannot.
I saw you roll up with Crocs here.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
Crocs. I've got Crocs because
Crocs
every
guy.
step is like a little foot massage. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to side with the socks on that one.
You're a man of the people. You're not super corporate yet.
Yeah.
Fight the
Not
man.
in your high rise yet.
Fight the bunions.
If you had a loading screen, what would it say?
Loading screen. Oh, like on a computer. The best is yet to come.
There you go.
That's good.
And finally, if pasta had bones, you still twirling it?
Oh. Like a little comedy?
I think so, because the best ramen you can make is when you take some of the uncooked ramen and sprinkle it on top.
Oh.
So that's like the bones of a noodle.
And for our Italians out there, do you snap the pasta before boiling it, or?
Oh my God, no! You can't do that.
Yeah, they're coming through the cameras right now.
Just put it in the pot, let it spread around. It will go. You don't even have to touch it. It'll go down. on
They
its
take
own.
immense offense to that.
And it's not cooked unevenly. Just after 16 minutes, you're good.
Yeah.
That's so American. Yeah, welcome to Olive Garden.
right.
Oh, break the breadsticks.
Tell me when.
Don't break the pasta. That's right.
I need a tell me when guy at home just to
Keeps it going.
to get that Parmesan on
anything.
everything. Americans, I like they sit there with their poker face as they wait, like when. They wait after that 6
Really
months.
just getting it going.
Well,
Pretty
thank
good.
you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Slade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and where can people find you? What should they know about you?
First of all, this is a great thing you guys have going.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sweating with you two has been the pleasure of my day, and no, I mean that sincerely, and I wish you all the success. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch, and all your other episodes as well. But yeah, so I'm at the Dad Briefs on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere, and we talk about food, fun, and fatherly wisdom. Get into some civic discourse. Talk about all the things that we should be caring about in this country, and please follow along.
There you have it. And,
Amazing.
We know you're trying to escape right now. We have more and
get me outta
more.
here.
We have more ceremonial.
You made it through the session with us, and anyone who can make it's like being knighted.
Yeah,
We're
this is-
officially knighting
yeah.
you.
I feel like I've eaten the last
We have
Yeah.
your official SBZ shark tooth. There you go.
officially
You are
becoming
knighted.
Sauna Slade here.
Sauna Slade. Woo!
I will wear it with pride. Thank you so much.